All right, good morning, everybody. Happy to be back from my work trip to the beach. Did have some decent tradings and stuff over there, so hopefully you enjoyed just a little glimpse of that because it was too hard and didn't have enough time to make cool videos while I was out there for the work stuff. But today was an interesting day. Two trades today, one in coin and one big size short in PYXS. We're going to break it down in today's video. Let's go, let's trade. Okay, so the first trade was pretty much out of the opening gates here on coin. I was watching it here as I was moving towards 67, looking for the pop through 67 here. There it is. I go ahead and get short, only 50 shares at 67.06 because IB still has ridiculous margin restrictions on this thing, so I had to take it easy in case I had to do my adding in, as you guys know I do. So in here short at 67.06, it looks like it's a pretty good entry because this thing started coming down pretty much immediately after that little 67 break there. So looking forward to come down here. I'm just looking at it. I'm like, okay, where would I want this? Well, 67.60 would be good. About a 50-cent move, just a little bit less, but I think a 60-cent move or a 50-cent move is pretty decent here on this coin pop since it was off the bottom and not too much through the highs, but it comes up and gets me right there. So I'm all out for a quick little win there in coin for $23. And here we go. This is where it gets interesting. PYXS. I've been watching it for a while. It finally makes a big move. I go ahead and get a short started here with 300 shares. Got it at 510. Thought I was getting a better entry up towards 520 here, but is what it is. This is one of the ones that I was looking at it. I was looking at my buying power, the shares available, the range that I thought it would have. I was like, okay, this is a potential one that I could actually get some good share size in here. So that's what I'm thinking here on PYXS, that this is going to be a go for it type trade if it wants to make the big move. So we're going to have to wait and see what it does. In here at 510 as it is now with 300 shares short and just kind of waiting to see. So comes up and it hits about the 523s, 525s there. So I'm like, if that ends up being the high, it's going to make this kind of a crappy trade because then I'm still, 15 cents off the high and I didn't get an ad in there. So I'm watching it here, just seeing if it can break up through those highs, and probably gonna go ahead and get this if it does break through the highs here. So watching it, can it break up through 525? Technically 523 was the previous high, but figured that extra 2 cents wouldn't be hard for it to eat up and get through. So waiting to see what it can do right there. Now in hindsight, looking back at it, obviously should have been waiting for more than that because that's breaking out of a previous two candles, both hit the same high. So should have been looking for a bigger move than just a few cents above that. But I was in my brain thinking about where I started this and if it wasn't going to go much higher, what I needed to do to get it back down to get into some profits. So ended up kind of getting the wrong idea of where I should be adding here if it does make the move up here through this recent high. So you can see those two candles have formed now with that high at 523. So this third candle now is going to get up and get through there, and it gets up and gets through. I'm like, it barely pushed up and pushed through, so I'm not really sure what I should do here. Maybe I'll wait, see what it does for a second before I start adding in another 300 shares here. So I kind of hit that 525 spot and didn't really get any continuation through it. So as we come up and get through here a little bit, I decide to go ahead and click the button and I get 300 more shares here, and then it goes immediately, and that's what I should have been really waiting for on this ad, not this tiny little move up through that previous 2-minute high, but really that bigger move there to be looking to get the ad. But irregardless, I'm now in 600 shares, average of 518. See if we can get this thing up through like or towards the 550s for another ad. There it is, boom, and it's going to look like a ton of ads there, but it was just the shares spread out through different various prices there, getting the fills there. So now I have 1,200 shares short, and I'm still willing to go more on this one because, like I said, this was one that I felt had really, really good potential. So as it's popping up here towards the 570s, I'm going to go ahead and add in one more time. Now I have 2,400 shares short, average of 551 and change. And actually it looked like it was getting ready to halt here, which I wouldn't have been overly a fan of, but at the same time, it probably would have come out lower than where it was just because of what the move it had made. It was slowing down the momentum of this thing. So I was thinking I was about to be entered into a halt here, but it actually failed. It didn't do the halt. It didn't hang on quite long enough at that price. So now I'm in these 2,400 shares at the average of 551 and just waiting to see if it's going to come back down for me. So here it comes. It's starting to make the reversal back down, and I am looking at it. I'm like, it is a little bit more deep than I was thinking I was going to be into this one, but I did want to be aggressive with it. So we'll see if it can make the move back down under 550 and then look to partial it out from there. I'll probably take a pretty good chunk if we get a nice move through 550 just to reduce the risk down a little bit because I do have 2,400 shares here, like I said. So, we're in a good position here that if it's going to make that big pullback, this is going to be a big winner. And this is what I've been waiting for here. I've been waiting for one like this for quite some time to give me that opportunity to have a really nice trade. So waiting to see if it can get under the 550s here. I'm going to go ahead and get 2,000 shares ready of my 2,400. If we get a nice move under the 550s down towards 540, is probably where I'm going to start looking to take some of my risk off here in some profits. So, just kind of waiting and seeing what it does here. I'm like, is 550 going to hold on? I'm not really sure. Is it going to bounce off of 550 and maybe test the highs again? That wouldn't be an overly great sign if it wanted to do that. So it's just kind of a waiting and watching and seeing game at this point in time with the shares that I have here short. So here it comes. It's coming back down towards the 550s. It kind of struggles again. Goes back up into the 560s. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this might be a stop out through highs a day here if it doesn't make the move that I'm looking for because I'm in pretty deep. So it fails once it gets into the 560s here. It's not going to get up any higher, and it starts coming back down towards the 550s. And boom, there's a quick move, and I was ready for it. Clicked the button, got a bunch of the fills down just at like 541, 542. So I'm out 2,000 of my shares. I still have 400 left. I'm up $130 on it currently. Now, what I'm really wanting is this thing to move back down towards 5. I thought that was the potential that it had. So that's what I wanted to wait for and try to wait for with this remaining 400 shares. Was get, another 50-cent move out of this 400 shares. But several minutes goes by and it just kind of goes sideways. It gets back up above 550, gets into the 560s again. So I'm like, oh man, what is this thing doing? So as we come down here towards 540, I decide on putting 200 of the shares out here at 540, looking to see if I can get a fill down here just to reduce it down a little bit more because I wasn't really sure if it was going to make the move I was looking for at this point. Because I thought if it was going to, it would have shown me some nice strength of a move in that direction at this point already. So it at least does come down here and get me the fill for 400 or 200 of my 400 shares there at 540. So I'm down to 200 shares now. I'm really looking for those down towards 510, 505, kind of where that VWAP is sitting currently. But once again, this thing hit that 540s and just kind of came right back up. So at this point, I decided on putting my stop for my remaining 200 shares just over the previous kind of wall in the sand there, which is at 565 from that kind of flag it was making there after the initial pop. So I decided on a couple cents of slippage room there. So I put my stop in at 568 for the remaining 200 shares. Currently up 150 on it, but if I take the loss here, it is going to reduce that down a little bit, unfortunately, because I was definitely thinking we could be up easily over 200 on this trade and really further if it had made the move I was looking for. But irregardless, I've got my stop in set here at 568 as it's pushing up further. It got into the 560s. I was like, all right, maybe it's going to reject here off of that previous kind of high, and it started faking me out here as it came down. I was like, oh, look at this. It's coming back down. Maybe it's actually going to do the move for me now, but then boom, shoots right back up, and it's going to go ahead and stop me out. It's actually going to give me 6 cents of slippage. Got me out at 574 there, which was a little disappointing because that brought me down to plus 108.35 on the trade. So for the share size I had, definitely not what I was looking for. I definitely thought this was going to be a nice big win when I was getting into it. That's what I was looking for, a nice big win in here. But, at least I managed it. And once I saw that it really wasn't doing what I wanted, I was able to partial myself out into a $100 green trade anyway. So that's it. Up $130 today. 1 day left in the trading month. Almost don't want to say it. I've had 0 of a certain color days this month so far. So hopefully going to close that out strong tomorrow. Hopefully some good opportunities out there tomorrow. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.